To reduce post-harvest losses, unemployment, and to encourage production of more products from agricultural crops that meet the global standard, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development organized a training workshop for small-scale agro-processors in the North Central on proper processing and packaging of value-added agricultural products. In this episode of the program, we shall be taking highlights of the training and examining the effect it would have on participants at the workshop. But before then, we have news of activities of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. I'm your regular guide, Gabriel Ojile, welcoming you to the program Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria. Keep watching.
That will provide the necessary policy direction that will truly position agriculture as the mainstay of our economy.
The federal government is removing obstacles and offering opportunities for self-employment, wealth creation, and food security in the Nigeria's agricultural sector.
Think farming, think agriculture.
Watch Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria, showing on NTA Fridays at 8:30 p.m.
In our diary tonight, Agri Ministry sensitizes abattoir workers on the dangers of abusing antimicrobial drugs. Also, Minister of Agriculture decorates new officers of Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Services. Details after this break. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, in collaboration with relevant stakeholders, organized a sensitization workshop for livestock farmers and butchers on the use of antimicrobial drugs on animals. Speaking during the sensitization workshop in Cairo area of Abuja, the Vice President, Veterinary Council of Nigeria, Dr. Bala Mohammed, stated that when antimicrobial drugs are used on animals, it is expected that such animals should not be sold or killed for consumption until the effect of the drugs wears out in the animals. Dr. Bala said doing otherwise can lead to resistance in the use of antibiotics in treating human ailments. He then urged butchers to always consult veterinary doctors for advice.
Our call here is that let us please not indulge in indiscriminate use of antibiotic. Let us please advise farmers not to slaughter animals immediately after use of antibiotics if it is necessary. Let us please look at other instances where we must use laboratory. We must take to the advices of the veterinarians before we advise the use of antimicrobial, antibiotics, antiprotozoans in our animals.
Highlights of the occasion was the conferment by the Ministry of the title of Antimicrobial Resistance Champion on His Royal Highness Sir Kayuri of Kauru, Dr. Emmanuel Ketuta Yapwe, for his contribution to the campaign.
What this means is that from today, we will be one of the leading voices in Nigeria to continuously create awareness, sensitize and mobilize Nigerians against inappropriate use, misuse, overuse and abuse of antimicrobials.
The traditional ruler appreciated the effort of the ministry and other stakeholders in the campaign and pledged his support to ensure strict adherence to the proper use of antimicrobial drugs in his domain.
This awareness we are giving, with this knowledge you are giving us, I think it will go a very long way and will help me also on how to talk with my people.
The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development has been honored with an award for his contribution to the development of agriculture. The award was given to the Honorable Minister Muhammad Mahmoud Abubakar in Abuja by the Controller General, Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Services, Vincent Isegbe. Speaking during the award ceremony, the Controller General commended the effort of the Honorable Minister for his support to the Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Services and the agricultural sector in general. He stated that the service is committed to ensuring proper checks on agro-produce against pests and diseases before allowing them into the country.
The agency inspects foreign arriving passengers, baggage and cargo. It denies entry to, destroys and treats potentially harmful and prohibitive animals, fruits, vegetables and plant materials, fish and aquatic products. The agency safeguards Nigerian agriculture against plant and animal pest disease entering Nigerian borders. on foreign arriving vessels, airplanes, trains, automobiles, and even on foot.
The event also featured the decoration of officers of the Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Service who were promoted from Assistant Controller Quarantine to Assistant Controller General Quarantine Service. The Honorable Minister Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar urged the newly promoted officers to ensure diligence and commitment to their service. Did you know that how you process and package your agro products determines their shelf life and the market value you get on them? Did you also know that there are agencies and non-governmental organizations and investors that can invest in your processing and packaging business? Our next segment, Records of the FDA, will give you insight into proper processing and packaging of agro products and links to financial grants among other opportunities. Why not sit back and watch?
Processing is the most important thing before packaging.
When I package my fruit juice now like this and it's fancy, at least to sell itself and the demand will become higher.
We've learned so many methods you can use in processing our agri-produce.
A very big thank you for including the youths.
Kudos to the minister and all of them.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, between 25th and 26th October 2022, organized a training workshop for small-scale agro-processors selected from the 6 states in the North Central and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The processors at the training cut across youth, women, and people living with disabilities. Delivering a keynote address during the workshop, the Director, Department of Agriculture, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Abdullahi Abubakar, who was represented by the Deputy Director, Sugar Mahmood, stated that the purpose of the workshop was to build the capacity of processors who were selected from different clusters.
The ministry is promoting processing and packaging of agricultural commodities and value addition to reduce post-harvest losses and wastages along the value chain and enable year-round availability of food for our nutrition and well-being.
The director also urged the participants to take advantage of the opportunity to improve on what they are doing in agro-processing, packaging, and marketing.
I therefore urge all trainees here today to show a high level of participation, involvement, and seriousness during all the activities associated with this training so that they can fully integrate and more easily put into practice what they learn and contribute to achieving the targets set for agricultural production in Nigeria.
The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Park and Sales Limited facilitated the technical session. She gave participants the opportunity to state their challenges and expectations for a possible solution through the training. Some of the challenges identified by participants include change of taste and color of products after packaging, packaged products not having a long shelf life, lack of capital and equipment, inability to meet the standards of regulating agencies, lack of access to market, among others. To address the challenges associated with change of color and taste of packaged products such as tomatoes, the resource person advised on the use of dehydration machine.
Another way you can do it is to do, we call it pasteurization. You slice them. Once you slice them, you put them into what we call dehydrator. We have dehydrators, we have a sample of it, we're going to show you the dehydrators. It not just dries it, it retains the original color of the tomatoes, thereby making it the taste remains, the color remains.
On the challenge of having a long shelf life, trainees were told to pay attention to the processing stage, which is key to getting it right.
Maybe it's not even the packaging material. Maybe during dehydration, you did not dry it properly. Or something went wrong somewhere during the line. And at the end of the day, you just put it inside the packaging bag, which eventually will go back. So processing and packaging, they go and work hand don't miss anyone. Don't miss it out at all. Because anything that goes wrong during the process, definitely you get it wrong at the end.
The facilitator focused on packaging, meeting the regulation and market demands, registration of agro products with regulatory agencies, and marketing of products across the nation's borders.
Before you can use any preservative in your product, you must contact NAFDA because they have some approved ones and there are some that you feel is okay, but they will tell you no, they don't accept. So before you use any preservative, you must contact them first.
There was a practical session during which participants were exposed to processing and packaging machines and how they function.
This is the cup sealing machine. It seals, that's what we use in sealing like this. For those of you that are into juice or cookies or anything, this is the machine for it. You just put it here. Unfortunately, the light cannot carry it. So once you just press it, it will seal it, and then you see this. So the next thing is...
Sorry, this has to be on top of it.
Yes, that's what covers it. This nylon on top, this one, automatically will cover it. Yes. So the next one is this one. It's tiger nut machine. So for the tiger nut milk, this is the machine that can do the milling and the milking. So for this one, it's sugar cane machine. So you put the sugar cane here, you get the juice from here. Like you know, this one is the band sealer, the one we used. And this one is for shrinking, like you know. This one is a dryer. You use it to dry all the vegetables or anything you want to dry. You can use this machine. Now this is a manual slicer to slice your onions. For you to dry, you must slice them equally. So this machine is very good for it. This one is a miller to mill spices or anything, dry one. You use this one to do that. This one is garlic peeler. To peel garlic, you need this one. For those of you that are into juices, this one is the juice extractor. You use this one to juice out everything. So this one is manual orange squeezer.
Participants on their part testified that the training was a success.
Another thing that I learned newly, as you have seen me with 2 pouches here, I was packaging my product before in this pouch, but I observed that same machine she has, I have it at home, but on the process of packaging, my own nylon always melts, so it's not giving me what I want. I was only wondering, what is this? But as I brought this my own to try it, maybe it's electric fault, she now told me it's because the nylon I'm using is not a food grade nylon. So we now change it into this of food. It has given me what I want. That is, automatically from here, I'm changing my packaging from this nylon to this food grade pouch.
We were exposed to smaller machineries that we can use, even though we cannot afford the big ones. For instance, the tiger nut own of almost 1.6 million. Someone that is starting small like me, I can't afford that. And we're exposed to ways in which you can liaise with people that run the same business and package it properly. When I package my fruit juice now in smaller cups like this and it's fancy, at least to sell itself, and the demand will become higher. So I've learned that one. And I think my CEO business now has stepped up.
I've achieved a lot in this program. From yesterday to today, I've learned how to preserve and how to seal and packaging. And so far, so good. For those around me, I would like to tell them that whatever you are selling, you learn how to package very well so that you do your marketing.
Long ago, I've been longing to be able to export my products, and the challenges I'm facing has to do with branding and packaging. And with this training I had few days, I've learned how to have proper branding with right measurements and standard for exporting purpose. And also I've been able to get some links on how to penetrate into the global market.
Others who were drawn from youth clusters share their experiences of the training.
Like the training has been really enlightening and very practical. Like we've learned so many methods you can use in processing our agri-produce and packaging, like the right processing and packaging methods for each agri-produce and how packaging can affect the quality of your produce. So I've really learned a lot and I can't wait to apply it in my business.
I've learned how to process and package foods. I've learned about the right materials to use, what's inside the materials. I learned that sometimes the wrong packaging and processing of foods can tend to damage your products when packed. And I also learned that there are some processes that you would take that at the end product of of everything, it tends to go bad within days after producing. I've learned a lot, and I also want to impact others and encourage others to also learn.
The program is transforming agriculture in Nigeria, and we have been taking highlights from the training workshop organized for small-scale agro-processors in the North Central Zone. In the course of the training, our crew spoke to the organizers on the multiplier effect of this training on value addition to agro-products in Nigeria. Let's take their responses in our next segment. Keep watching.
Processing is the most important thing before packaging.
When I package my fruit juice now like this and it's fancy, at least to sell itself and the demand will become higher.
We've learned so many methods you can use in processing our agri-produce.
A very big thank you for including the youths.
Kudos to the minister and all of them.
Consultants factored in.
Suleiman Aliyu, the Chief Technical Officer in the Federal Department of Agriculture, reveals that the training will make Nigeria agro-products more acceptable in the global market. He said the ministry remains committed to ensuring that the trainees get the necessary equipment at subsidized rate to promote quality processing and packaging.
Consultants factored in a kind of starter pack depending on the availability of funds. Like these ones, they are going with some packaging materials, well-structured packaging materials, away from what they used to do. You can see what they came in with because we asked them to come with some of their products. And we saw the packaging is not good enough, it's poor. So we have supported them with some few packaging materials. But moving forward, we are looking at the equipment that were demonstrated here for them to have hands-on experience on packaging and processing. The ministry already is procuring processing equipment that we subsidize to farmers and processors. So we will lay emphasis now on some of these packaging materials too that will be procured in due course, and already there's a platform formed for participants of this training that we can reach to them, even including their business addresses, so that going forward we'll be able to assist them at least as subsidized, if not given to them free of charge.
The MD CEO Park and Sales Limited advocated for synergy between the regulatory agencies and also for the government to establish common facilities to help the growth of small-scale processors.
One of the major challenges to SMEs are getting is having their products registered with NAFDAC. NAFDAC, they have their standards and they know why they have set those standards. It's for us to be able to have safe foods in our society. But having said that, this is a little bit difficult for upcoming SMEs to keep to their demands. So I am pleading with the government to see how they can set up common facility centers so that upcoming SMEs or processors will be able to use these centers to have their products hygienically packaged for the nation to have a good food. Another thing is, if there will be synergy amongst the regulatory agencies like NAFDAC, like SON, if they can come together and see how they can reduce their what do I call it now, the procedure in getting registered with them.
The resource person advised participants to remain focused in order to leave their footprints on the sand of time in their processing and packaging businesses.
My advice to them is never give up. Just keep focused. If you do the right thing, package right, process right, follow the rules, your products will speak for you anywhere, anytime, any day.
The ministry also advised farmers and processors on the importance of forming cooperatives so that government interventions can easily reach them.
Yeah, and the thing is, once you are in group, it's easier to assist or support you. I told them about some development partners that are supporting cooperative groups, and even development banks like Bank of Agriculture prefer to deal with cooperative, with groups, because they tend to guarantee each other. Handling an individual on its own, yes, it's okay, but it will not give the effect we want. And once they are in cooperative, they will work on each other's strengths. Those that are weak will capitalize on the strength of the ones that are a bit capable to bring them up. And once the cooperatives are well organized, we have seen this in many clans, in other clans, in Japan, in Europe, how cooperatives are able to empower people on their own, starting from a little cooperative society down to a general union with big factories. For instance, in Japan, which I gave them an example, you will see JAs, they call them, that as a cooperative society that employ next to the government of Japan. Japan government is first number one employer of labor, followed immediately by the cooperative society.
Although the participants that underwent this training were just about 60 in number, there will definitely be a multiplier effect as they will also train other members of their clusters.
This training is TOT, the training of trainers. And since these people were selected from various clusters, they have their members across the North Central Zone. So as they go back to their locality, they are expected to transfer this knowledge to members of their group. They will cascade it down so that a lot of people will benefit from this. Yes, they are already into it, they are doing it, but there are better ways of doing it, and that is the knowledge they've gained and skills. So we expect that there will be a multiplier to the ripple effect will be enormous. Because, for instance, when we are talking about 50 here, if in every cooperative or every group you have 25 people that are trained down, you can do the arithmetic yourself and see how we reach out to our processors and farmers, especially in the rural areas.
The participants, who were very excited about the training, also thanked the resource persons and the ministry while committing to train others in their clusters and localities.
I appreciate the resource person, I appreciate the Federal Ministry of Agri for my own self, because without this exposure, without this platform, I don't think I would have gathered this. It's something that cost a lot of money, and it was given to me for free. So I really appreciate it. I must say kudos to the organizer, kudos to the PAMSEC, the minister, and all of them. More grace to their elbow, and I pray they also carry other people along, because we are not much. We can only do the little we can, and I hope that my co-participants genuinely step down their approach to others that want to learn willingly.
For every learning to grow, if you want to grow fast, train other people, even if it's for free. I do that. I do it for free, and I have pleasure in that, because tomorrow I might not be around. Tomorrow, maybe if I train you on something and I'm out of stock, I can easily call you. So person needs so, and you supply. And definitely I've helped you, you have helped me. As Federal Minister have helped me. I didn't pay 10 naira to be here. So it is also expected of me to also train somebody.
Trainings such as these have great potentials in reducing post-harvest losses and opening the eyes of farmers to the many things they can do to add value to agricultural produce. And this is the much we can take on this episode. Thank you for investing your time with us. Join us again, same time, same station next week for more. Have a good night.